All-Star Oscar nominee extravaganza. Larry King tonight, 9 Eastern.
All right, a lot of people out there lucky enough right now, certainly feel lucky to be able to hold on to their jobs right now, but it's not always a happy feeling you have if you hold on to that job. It can lead to you feeling depressed even. Psychologists call it layoff survival syndrome. And Paula Caligiuri is the director of the Center for Human Resource Strategy. Joins us now to tell us more about this. It sounds like the exact opposite. You seem like you would be happy to hold on to your job when it's not really the case there. And we were just talking a second ago, this is just like surviving a natural disaster, a plane crash, a wreck of some kind, and somebody else didn't. It's the same type of thing.
Exactly the same.
Now, what happened? Now, are the feelings just as intense? Somebody might think, because it's not a disaster, nobody died, if you will. Somebody just lost their job. Somebody, you know, maybe it wouldn't be the same, but are the feelings the same?
The feelings are the same. You know, it's a constellation of very negative emotions that people feel when they watch those around them lose jobs. Well, they get to keep theirs.
Now, can we call these, I guess, these layoff survivors just as much be qualified as victims who may need some help?
Exactly, exactly. And it's interesting because people don't want to talk about feeling as though they're victims because they, in fact, have jobs. They're supposed to feel lucky or grateful, and in fact, they don't.
Now, what do people go through? How can you identify? Maybe people are going through this and don't even realize it. So what are some of the things to look out for?
Sure. The most common one is guilt. You know, people need to realize that this layoff was not their fault. It certainly was not their responsibility, and it wasn't within their control. What they need to do is try to get some information about how the decision was made, try to talk to their supervisor if they can to understand more rationally how the decision was made.
Also, they go through a couple of other stages here: anger, frustration, and also sadness.
Right.
I guess should we all be on the lookout for this within ourselves and also be keeping an eye out for our coworkers?
Exactly, exactly. We need to be supporting each other through this. You know, anger particularly is an interesting one because you could be feeling anger toward management or toward the organization, but you may also be feeling some envy or resentment toward the people who lost their jobs.
Now, how is that possible? That doesn't sound right.
I know. It's hard to believe, right? But, you know, it's a real feeling. If, I mean, face it, they were the ones perhaps that you perceive had a great severance package, or they got the early retirement. They're not in the middle of a difficult situation anymore. They're the ones who you feel, you know, got the better deal. Now, doesn't have to be rational.
A lot of this as well, those feelings you can have come from, I guess, even if you keep your job and you see everybody around you being fired, you can get that feeling that, oh my goodness, maybe I'm next. So that doesn't feel good.
Exactly, exactly. And it's a real good time, you know, if you're starting to feel some of that frustration, it's a very good time to talk to your supervisor, talk to your manager about how tasks are going to be reallocated. I mean, you're not going to be able to do the work of, you know, 2, 3, 4 people. You're going to need to understand what your managers or supervisors' priorities are.
And finally here, and I want to hit on this point because, again, people might not take this as seriously because it's not the same as having a life-changing experience as far as maybe someone getting killed in an accident or surviving a plane crash. So it may not seem as serious. Is it really that serious, and people may need to seek some professional help for this?
Absolutely. I mean, treat it as though any other, you know, type of depression. If it lasts beyond about 2 weeks and it still feels very serious, and you've tried things like eating well, going to the gym, renting a funny movie, you've done all the things to be good to yourself, and you're still feeling these negative emotions, I'd recommend either going to your employee assistance program within your organization or perhaps going to seek some medical attention.
All right. Well, my goodness, this economic situation is hitting people in so many different ways, and even people keeping their jobs need to be on the lookout for some things that could affect them. Again, Paula Caligiuri, from the director of the Center for Human Resource Strategy. Man, we appreciate you taking the time out with us this morning. Thank you so much. Bring this to our attention.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
That's interesting. You hold on to your job and still can be affected in such a way. It's interesting stuff.
It is very interesting how it just affects you not only as an employee but as a person. I mean, a lot of people place their value in what they do, and it can really, you know, change your psyche if things like that happen. You know, speaking of how you feel. Ladies and gentlemen, Love School is in session on this Valentine's Day.
Are you teaching?
Oh, no, not me.
We're going to talk about what our guy, we got to spend some time with him this week. Steve Harvey. What can he teach you, teach us, teach Betty about finding romance?
Why did you say me?
I don't know. I just felt like throwing that in there.
Thanks.